All right, shitty trailers not maintained and causing accidents that are preventable on the highways. This is a tandem axle trailer, single axle trailer, single axle trailer. They're not registered in Virginia. However, under federal law, they do have to comply with federal law standards, no matter what state they are in, because there are tandem axle trailers. So this trailer looks like it had an accident. It is not safe. It's been bent, torn apart. There's issues with the seating of the panel hitch on the towing vehicle. So it's suspect. What happened? What made this trailer cause this kind of damage to it? Most likely it came loose and had a little accident that was never repaired. So this is another tandem axle trailer. Under federal law, it's supposed to have a safety inspection by the federal government. This is the housing where the paperwork should be in, but it's not there. I'm not touching it, so I'm not accused of anything. Again, some issues with the frame of the trailer. Now let's see where it's registered. If it's registered in Virginia, it is supposed to be also inspected by Virginia inspection stations. Also, there's rocks that are never cleaned off before they travel, so the rocks end up on the road in people's windshields. So this is a Maryland tag trailer, and this one here is a Maine tag trailer. What they do is they avoid paying the inspections, and they avoid paying the car tax, trailer tax in Virginia. If it is a Virginia-based company, we don't know, because we have no way of knowing, because Maine won't release who owns the trailer to the state of Virginia. It's using a either rented or is it a company-owned rumor trencher. We don't know this for a fact. Just showing you what I see. I am dissecting preventable accidents and injuries caused by people who tow trailers. This trailer is a single axle trailer, but they still have to have working taillights. It's obviously to me that there's no taillights working. See? This is a violation. Also, the tires are suspect because there's very little tread on the tire. All tires have date codes on them, which means that they are, when they are produced, they do expire. And this is a date code of 17 of 16. So this tire was made 2017, week 16. This tire is going to blow out and is way over its lifespan. Okay? Right there. It's going to explode and burn out, and there'll be an issue on the highway. Let's see when the other tire was made and when did it expire. So anyone who's got half a brain, any engineer will tell me that that tire is definitely expired its lifetime. Now this tire here doesn't have a clear date because sometimes they're on the inside of the tire, and this tire is probably way older than that. So I'm not going to do anything to it, but that's the DOT. That tells the companies who made the tire, if they ever investigate why there was an accident. But so many don't even bother because they're not aware of the problem. Let's look at some other tires and some date codes. And those tires on this tandem axle trailer, again, we look for it. Now this one here has a puncture, see? Another puncture, stress points. Of course, made in the beautiful country of China. There's the manufacturer. That tells the DOT people who manufactured the tire in case they have to investigate if there's a pattern of bad tires. And again, most likely the date code's on the inside of a tire. China. Here we go. This tire is definitely way over age. It was made on 2016, week of 22. So this tire is near, even though the tread looks good on it, it could explode and end up on a highway and lose control of the vehicle and have an accident. And the police reconstruction teams don't ever check and see what was the initial cause of the accident. Why did the tire blow out? And it's right there. Produced week 16, 2016, week of 2020. week 22. All right, so that's the problem here. So this should be pulled from service. Sorry. Here's another tire. You can see the nuts are starting to come off because look at this nut here, and then look at the. So this is going to be called a wheel off. At some point, this whole entire axle is going to fail, and the tire will come off and kill people like Brian Durst in Georgia because no one knows what happened. Now this tire is really bad. 2004. I'm sorry, no. 2004, week 24. So 2004. This tire is definitely way over its age. And this thing should be pulled from service. Whoever owned it. So since 1975, over 30,000 people have been killed. And I'm the only person who has decided to take on this challenge of trying to save lives by preventable accidents that people just keep on destroying my efforts. Unfunded, by the way. And the people who do sue are always paid off with NDAs. This tire here, as I'm looking for it, well, the day code most likely is on the inside of the tire. Anyway, that's what the problem is. We have officers who are not trained. They're overworked. We have companies who don't give a shit. We have companies, oh, here we go, look. I haven't touched this. I'm simply pointing out what I see. Okay? Now, 24. Look at what's happening. I don't know who it belongs to, so you can clearly see as the trailer is being towed, there is now a friction point, and eventually this is going to fail. Then add more stress to that bolt, and we're going to have a wheel off. Okay? Now, as far as the day code, I have no idea what they did in China because the tire has not been made 2042 and week of 24. So there's a screwed up number here. It must have a bunch of idiots. I don't know how that happened. I have no idea how that happened. But look at you can clearly see people. We have a lot of unsolved deaths because on a tandem axle trailer, when this happens, you can continue driving. And nobody cares. But yeah, we worry about seatbelt violations. So in Virginia now, I don't care if you wear a seatbelt. If you don't know by now that you should be wearing a seatbelt and you don't do it, it's your problem and you killed yourself. But I have a problem with people who are wearing seatbelts getting killed by wheel-offs. Wearing seatbelts. Now we'll continue on to the next one here on this side and let's see what's happening here. They look decent. And all right, so that's the problem we have. The trailers of death. Every one of these trailers, a factor has increased in the potential loss of life that was preventable if the government would address safety standards by people who tow trailers and enforce it. But unfortunately, America is by money, and money talks, including, for example, a missing taillight. This is clearly missing, but no one seems to care. But they are trained on seatbelt violations that only protect the person who is wearing it. Do you see the point I make? I'm not vindictive. I'm not being mean or caustic. I witnessed Mrs. Decker getting killed by a homemade trailer on Hull Street. And I decided to ask the question, like any person who's reasonable, why are people towing homemade trailers? And then I'm the only person who said, you know what? This might be an issue. And it has been. DangerousTrailers.org. Enough is enough.